Okay, everybody, I'm back. Sorry about that. I got a 15-minute time limit there. But anyway, the 20th anniversary of the Alamo Bowl will be Texas and Oregon State. Again, I gotta go with Texas on that one because again, just like Texas Tech in the Meineke Bowl, Texas will have home state advantage in the Alamo Bowl, and they're gonna want it more. Then you got the Buffalo Wild Wings Bowl. The reason I laugh about this, folks, is because my second oldest sister works at Buffalo Wild Wings. And this is on the 29th, 2 days before New Year's, so I got a feeling she's going to end up working that night. It's TCU versus Michigan State. TCU becoming bowl eligible in the first year with the Big 12, just like West Virginia. Michigan State, that's a good team, but I got to go with TCU because just like with West Virginia, they're going to want to make a statement that their arrival in the Big 12 was not a fluke. Then you got the Music City Bowl, North Carolina State against Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt's got home field advantage, kind of like a home field advantage. You can't go wrong with that. You got to go with Vandy on that one. Then the Sun Bowl, USC and Georgia Tech. USC, who are we kidding? USC is going to come out and kick some Georgia Tech ass. I mean, Georgia Tech, they could surprise us. I'm not denying that, but come on, seriously, 6-7 against a team that was hoping to be BCS bound, national championship bound. Goodbye, Georgia Tech. And it's going to be in the Sun Bowl. Hopefully, it's a nice day for a slaughter. No offense. Then you got the Liberty Bowl, Iowa State against Tulsa. Iowa State's a Big 12 school. You would think they'd have an edge over Tulsa, but never say never. That's a toss-up there. Chick-fil-A Bowl, LSU and Clemson, two teams that were hoping to be bowl eligible. I gotta go with I don't know. It's a toss-up on this one too. It's a toss-up here, so I don't know what to say. Then you got the Gator Bowl. We're hitting into New Year's now. New Year's Day, the Gator Bowl. Will be Mississippi State Northwestern. I got to go with Northwestern on this. They've had a great season. I got to go with them. The Heart of Dallas Bowl, formerly the Ticket City Bowl. Heart of Dallas Bowl, Purdue and Oklahoma State. Got to go with Oklahoma State. They got the better record. They got the better offense and the defense. The Outback Bowl, South Carolina and Michigan. It's a toss-up there, but I have to show some favoritism towards South Carolina. I don't know why. I just got a feeling they're going to want it more. The Capital One Bowl, Georgia and Nebraska. Georgia and Nebraska meeting in the Capital One Bowl. This is going to be a toss-up. This could be the game. This could be the game on New Year's Day. This is going to be the game to watch on New Year's Day. The Capital One Bowl. It's a toss-up. It's a heavyweight fight. It's a heavyweight championship fight between Georgia and Nebraska on this day because they're both going to want to prove that they should have been in the BCS. And Georgia's going to prove that they should have won the SEC and been in the national championship. Okay, I talked about the BCS games already. Let's go to the Cotton Bowl. The Cotton Bowl, Texas A&M and Oklahoma, a rematch of old Big 12 rivals. This is going to be another toss-up. It's going to be the game to watch on January 4th. So we'll just see what happens. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be in new Cowboy Stadium. Obviously, Texas A&M is going to have some home field advantage, home crowd advantage. But Oklahoma's not that far away. We'll see what happens. That's going to be a toss-up. That's going to be a game to watch and record on the 4th of January. Then you got the Compass Bowl, the BBVA Compass Bowl, or as the analysts at ESPN like to call it, the Pittsburgh Invitational, because it's like the 6th or 5th straight year Pittsburgh is gone. Pittsburgh will take on Ole Miss on January 5th. Then you got the GoDaddy.com Bowl. Kent State, who was this close to a BCS, goes to a game the day before the BCS championship game. It'll be the GoDaddy.com Bowl. Kent State will take on Arkansas State from the Sun Belt Conference. And then, of course, like I said, the national championship game, Notre Dame, Alabama. And again, a rundown, which I believe is going to be a great game, Notre Dame, Alabama. That's going to be one to record and watch, which I will do. And then, of course, like I said, the Rose Bowl. Stanford, obviously, a big favorite. So obviously, got to go with Stanford on that one. Northern Illinois, Florida State. I got to go with NIU for the upset because they're going to want to prove the detractors wrong. Just like the Orange Bowl committee, like I said in part one, chose them along with the BCS to prove the detractors and critics wrong. Northern Illinois is going to want to do the same thing. I got to go with them for the upset. Florida and Louisville, that's another heavyweight fight. But if I was to pick a favorite, I got to go with Florida to edge it out, maybe by 3. And in Oregon State, Kansas State, that is a toss-up. But I lived in Kansas for 7 years. I became a K-State fan, still am. I want to see Kansas State win. It's going to be a close game. Again, I think it's going to be measured by field goal. So, with the exception of the Rose Bowl, I think all 3 other BCS games, the national title, the Sugar, the Orange, and all 4 games. Okay, the Orange, the Sugar, the Fiesta, and the National Championship, I feel all going to be very close, either decided by 7 points or less. 7 points or field goal. But yeah, that is your NCAA bowl schedule, college football bowl schedule for this year. Again, the college bowl season starts on the 15th of December. So that's going to be interesting to look forward to. I know a lot of schools are not too happy about where the teams have ended up, if you will. I'm trying to see the time here. I mean, again, I know some schools, like I said, are not too happy. Okay. Are not too happy about where their teams ended up, and I can't blame you. I mean, honestly, you feel your school should have been here, your school should have been there. I don't blame you guys for being upset, but it's the way the system is. But speaking of the BCS system, let me talk about that for a second. Next year it's going to change very rapidly, very drastically, because apparently, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know what the format's going to be just yet. But apparently some of the BCS bowl games are going to be used as playoff sites. There'll still be bowl games. There'll still be the bowl games, and you'll still have a bowl champion. But the team that wins has to play again the following week. Now, if it's a 4-game set, you're basically taking a look at top 4 teams in the BCS that would be playing. And right now, it sounds like the Rose Bowl is going to be one of the sites, and the Fiesta might be the other. Well, the Orange and the Sugar will be just regular BCS games. That's what it sounds like to me. Now, if it's a 6-game format, 6-team format, then all the bowls are going to be used up. Rose Bowl is going to have 2. Fiesta is going to have 2. Sugar might have 2, or Orange might have 2. You'd be basically looking at that. If it's an 8-game, there you go. All 4 bowl schedules, 8 teams. But the thing is, from what I understand, is I don't know how it's going to start. Either it's a 4-team system or an 8-team system. I don't know yet. But basically, the rulings are also anybody that's in the top 8 or 16 or whatever, however it's going to work out, is going to get in. Now, here's my thoughts on this. I don't mind a playoff. Either it's 4 teams, either it's the top 4, the top 8, doesn't matter. I don't mind a playoff. What I do mind is the fact that you're using the BCS bowl, the marquee bowl games for these playoffs. I mean, I understand you've got to use some kind of marquee place to do it. And yes, there's no doubt that whoever wins the Rose Bowl will be the Rose Bowl champions and then advance on to the national championship if it's a 4-game set. I get that. Or if it's a 6-game thing, they'll move on to the semifinals. I get that. But to me, it's more like if you're going to do this, do it at a time where you're not going to do it in a way that you won't use your marquee bowl games. Here's what you do. If I'm the BCS and I want to do a playoff, I use the extra week that I have open, the extra week or 2 that I have open. Like this week here, upcoming, I use my Tuesdays my Thursdays, my Fridays, and my Saturdays to do the game. That's what I do. I use the 2 weeks basically that I have open to do the playoff system. Then, after it's all said and done, you have your two teams, you have them set up. That's how I would do it. And then whoever, okay, here would be the constellation. Hear me out. Hear me out. This would be the constellation. You do, let's say they do the 4-game system, the 4-team system. The 2 teams that lose can meet each other in a BCS game. That's right. I'm not lying here, folks. You leave one of the BCS games open. So like, okay, you can have your Pac-10, your Pac-12, Big Ten matchup in the Rose Bowl. Let's say you leave the Fiesta Bowl open. Or leave one of them open. Okay? And you field the other ones. Let's say you choose, the Orange Bowl. You leave that open for whoever doesn't get to the national championship. Then those 2 teams that don't win those games meet each other in that game. It makes sense. Same thing if you want to expand to 6. Leave 2 bowl games open. Field the other 2, leave 2 open. Or if you want to expand to 8, leave 3 open. Or whatever. You get the idea, right? It would make it easier so that way you're not interrupting, you're not interrupting, but you're not using marquee bowl games and venues for those bowl games to do a playoff in. You end up saving them for actual bowl games because then you would already have your championship game set up. It's like this year. For example, you have your top 4 teams of what? Notre Dame, Alabama, Florida, Oregon. Here's what you do. You have Notre Dame against Oregon. You have Florida against Alabama. Whoever wins those games go to the national championship. The other 2 meet, like, let's say, the Sugar Bowl or the Fiesta Bowl. It makes more sense, folks. And I think a lot of you would agree on that. But that's just me. And I'm praying, and I hope to God maybe they'll do that. Because that makes more sense, don't you think? It makes more sense to do a 4-6 game playoff thing before the bowl season actually starts and give the teams that don't make it a constellation to play in regular BCS games. Let me know what you guys think of that. But overall, in this 2-part video, this has been your your college bowl game schedule for 2012-13. So, and into 2013. I will provide a link down below to the schedule. Let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. Video responses are greatly appreciated. And I'll talk to you all later.